As cases of microcephaly become more common, and particularly its impact on pregnant women, it's receiving global media coverage. But for Kansas mother Gwen Hartley, microcephaly is her everyday life. Gwen has two daughters with the condition, Claire, aged 15, and Lola, aged 10. Claire and Lola have already beaten immense odds by living as long as they have. And for Gwen, the events of the past few weeks mean she's now being consulted as an expert and someone who has first-hand experience of microcephaly by people from throughout the world.
Yes, it's been pretty busy around the Hartley house.
I suspect it's busy around the Hartley house all the time, is it?
You are right.
Tell me about looking after Claire and Lola. First of all, what do they understand and comprehend? What do they know of life?
You know, I think that a lot of people tend to sell kiddos similar to my kids and my kids short a little bit, because I think they think that because they don't communicate in a typical way that they may not be in there. And I disagree completely, because I am positive that my girls are in there, and they find their own little ways to communicate with us that are a little more subtle than most people are used to. They use a lot of eye movements and sound. They do make sounds, and they find ways to get their points across. They're very opinionated little girls.
So can you give me an example of how they might express their opinions?
Well, Lola, she will either grunt a lot, or if she's really mad, she is even been known to vomit, which I know that sounds really gross, but she makes her point that way.
Yeah, well, she's I can kind of understand that. So she's really aggrieved and she's, right?
Correct. That's my girl.
So you would never have heard of microcephaly, would you, prior to having Claire?
You know, I don't think that I would have. I'm not sure when or if my path would have ever crossed anyone else who had that condition.
Yeah, and now, of course, it's just beginning to become one of the most discussed medical conditions on the planet. And is there a sense now that you are less lonely, that this is a less solitary journey for you?
You know, I think you're right about that, actually. I think it's been, you know, I felt a little bit of a kinship with the other moms that I've met along the way. There's been online communities for children who have microcephaly and their families and caregivers, and that has really sustained me through the last 14 plus years. And that has, I don't know where I'd be without that group of moms. But as far as it being in the public, people actually know what it is now. And I'm afraid, well, I hope that I don't continue to get people ask me questions such as, what's wrong with your daughter now? Because I think that probably it's going to be a little bit more recognized because it's in the news so much.
Yeah. So on the one hand, you're doing lots of interviews like this, which is a form of, I don't know, responsibility or a burden or something. But on the other hand, people are going to understand the condition more, right?
Right. I think the awareness is really good for microcephaly itself. I just wish that it had come to be on a little bit different circumstances.
Yeah. You have been the most tenacious and singular mum, haven't you? And you were told when your babies were born that their life expectancy was very short, maybe as short as a year, but you have never given up on them, have you?
No, I think that is the key.
And what support do you get? What external support do you get? Or is it something that you do as a family?
I think we definitely do it as a family, and I don't think I could do it alone. I know that much. Having my support team and my friends and my family, and I mean our girls' therapists all the way to their teachers and our pediatrician too. It's the whole team matters, and having that support and having everybody be on the same page, having the same expectations and high standards for the girls' care and what we want them to accomplish is crucial. I mean, I think the key for all these new moms is to find that team.
Wow, it's big, isn't it? This is a big thing that's been asked of you.
It is, but I guess I just want to help as many people as I can. If my experience does that, I'm grateful to share it.
Yeah. In terms now of all the discussions about whether people should go to the Olympics, and you know, there's a lot of fear now about microcephaly. You, of course, had Claire and then had a third child, Lola. So you understood, I guess, the risks, and yet you went ahead anyway and had another baby, right?
That is correct. And I think for me and for my family, it took a lot of thought, a lot of deliberation and prayer and everything just to make sure that we felt like no matter what happened with our situation, whether our child was born typical or not, that we would be ready for it at that point. And we literally waited 4 years before we made that decision. And for us, we just kind of had the faith that whatever child was given to us was going to be the perfect child for our family. And I still feel that way.
And that faith has been rewarded. That has been the case for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Gosh, that's a beautiful way to feel about any child, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I feel like all three of my kids have been nothing but a gift to my life.